All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in for the very first webinar for SEOEngine.ai. I'm going to be hosting a webinar every single weekend on 11 a.m. Plus, I'll be doing a few more webinars as well in the coming weeks, where I'm going to be talking a lot more about AI. How do I define my workflows? How do I use AI? How I'm building things, and how you can do all by yourself, probably with just maybe a team member of one or two. But if you can handle everything by yourself, it's the best era to build. It's the best era to grow, and it's the best era to actually build a business. There is no better time than today. So again, less motivation. Let me just share my screen and get started with the results, right? Because again, we always believe one thing: let results talk, right? And then we get started with everything. So one of the very interesting projects that we started a few years ago, which is known as QCall.ai, right? It's an AI calling center where we have built our own foundational voice model. But what we had done essentially was we were just focusing on enterprises, right? And the only one focus channel that we focused on was SEO and AEO. That's it. We started working on it about close to around a year ago when no one was really focusing on. That's when we got started. That's exactly when we got started. And boy, we are getting incredible results where every single month we are packed with over 100 plus people, businesses wanting to use our services, wanting to use our product, right? And as you can see, the results speaks for themselves. Again, I'm just going to refresh so you guys can see there is nothing. It's actual Google Search Console, right? You can see over here in the last 3 months itself, we got a visibility of close to around 3 million plus. It's a B2B business, by the way, right? So you can just expect the kind of demand for a B2B business. It's insane. This is not B2C. This is not consumer business. This is not D2C. This is freaking B2B, which is what amazes me so much, that this is an incredible opportunity for all of you guys to grow. Not just that, as you can see, it drove clicks, which is also equally important. But at the same time, this is how we are doing it, right? And again, all of the things, it's clearly visible over here. Also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and walk you through my AHREF account to again show you that how I'm doing things in a very specific manner at the same time. As you can see over here, QCall in the last 1 year, it is now getting cited quite often. About ChatGPT is recommending it 152 times. AI Overview is recommending it almost like 11 times. Perplexity is recommending it about like 10 times. Gemini is recommending it about 113, and Copilot is something that we're not focusing on, is something that's not recommending, right? And again, as you can see, we aren't focusing too much on backlinks at all, which is what is very, very important, because one of the biggest issues that I constantly see and constantly look into and observe is businesses often get something known as Google Sandbox, right? And what is Google Sandbox? Anytime you launch a brand new domain, you tend to not get any traffic because you generally get into the Google Sandbox period, which is generally for about 3 to 6 months of time. I'm also going to be talking about how to get past that Google Sandbox in a most creative manner. But let's get started. Right, results talk for itself. And again, this is a playbook that has been done multiple times. So I'm going to be sharing more results very similar to this. And more importantly, how we used our own product, right? So we had been working on our own product known as SEOEngine.ai. We used our own product to drive the growth. Now we are doing it for our own platform itself. This was under beta for quite some time, but we officially made it live about 2 months ago. And since then, we have been getting some great traction. And again, we are focusing heavily on SEO and AEO over here as well. So let's get started with some very boring things, but also at the same time, these are fundamental things that are very, very, very important. And again, guys, if anyone has any questions, please drop your questions in the comments below. I will be more than happy to take up your questions in the middle or at the end of the webinar, however they come by, right? But please use the chat session, and let's get started. So the first and very important thing is understanding where businesses are heading and how ChatGPT is now serving 800 million plus users weekly, right? And this traffic just exploded in the last 2 years. People are going on ChatGPT. As a matter of fact, even my mom uses ChatGPT more often than Google now. She goes and types her contextual language over there, or she would just switch on that voice mode in ChatGPT app, and she would ask very long questions because she's getting much more desired answers over there as compared to Google, right? So again, but this doesn't mean that Google's traffic is SEO is going to die out. No, that's never going to happen. So if anyone says SEO is dead, that's never going to happen. But what we are is we are in the era of SEO 2.0 that combines SEO plus AEO at the same time. Now, here are some very interesting things that are already happening, right? Um, Apple have just shifted their entire searches, and what they have seen is there is a huge decline of Google searches on Safari for the first time in 20 years. This has never happened before, and I think there is a deal of about, I think, 15 or 17 billion dollars that Google pays to Apple every year for keeping the default search engine of Google on Safari. At the same time, Google stocks are plunging, right? We're already seeing that even though the results that they posted yesterday has been skyrocketed, but overall, what we are seeing specifically in the trend as a business for B2B is declining over there, right? Because the searches are constantly going down. So Google themselves are heavily focusing on AI as much as we do not want, but that's what is happening. But more importantly, this is what is the golden piece, right? Chat GPT has reached about 800 million weekly users in 2025 itself. This is expected to skyrocket, which also means that 24% of Americans now search AI first. So if you are focusing on US as a business, it's very, very important that you start focusing on AEO today, because if you're not going to do that, your competitors are doing it and they're going to rack up all of the results, all of the potential traffic. So start working on it today. It's extremely, extremely, extremely important, right? Just 1 second. I'm just going to admit the waiting room people. All right. Yeah. So, and more importantly, 17% of the digital queries now are on ChatGPT. Again, massive opportunity, guys. Please take advantage of this specific opportunity. There's a lot of opportunities right now over here. There's also a sudden rise of something known as zero-click apocalypse, right? 93% of the zero clicks happen when you go and search something on Google. When was the last time you actually clicked on a result, right? Most of the time you're just clicking on AI overviews, or you're going on ChatGPT or using Claude, Perplexity, whatever platform you are using, right? The base algorithm for all of these platforms remains the same. So if you start focusing on optimizing your websites and your platform to be AI enabled, this gives you an insane amount of opportunities. And also, I'm going to be sharing those tips and strategies in just a moment, right? Meanwhile, if you guys have any questions, please start dropping them in the comments. I'll continue taking those questions. Now, let's get started. And only 8% of the users actually get over shown, right? Not just that, 61% of organic CTR has dropped when AI summaries appear. So if you had maybe 100,000 monthly visitors, you now have about 30 to 40,000 if you are not focusing on AEO at all, right? So this is why it's very, very important. Now, this is what is happening further, right? Publishers have posted that there's a huge traffic loss happening starting from mid of 24 to May of 25, right? There is an ad revenue collapse that's happening for Google already. So Google themselves are thinking of how to integrate searches and ads inside AI overview. ChatGPT has already announced that they will be releasing ads very, very, very soon. That's a public news now that came out about a week or 2 weeks ago, right? And more importantly, the organic CTR for or AI overviews are minus 61% as of now, right? So this is where something very interesting happened with something known as a platform known as HubSpot that has lost almost 70 to 80% of their SEO traffic. Forbes has lost about 50% of the traffic, and Business Insider has lost about 55%, leading them to about 21% cut of the staff, right? Now, why traffic isn't all bad, right? Traffic correlates with economic hubs. So the more people come on visit on your website, there are more opportunities, right? So discover, it all starts with discovery. Are you visible? Are you visible for searches? Are you visible for businesses? That's the first thing you need to ask, right? Because if you aren't visible to these platforms, obviously they're not going to recommend you, right? So that's step one. That's very, very, very critical, right? At the same time, if there is just too much things happening, it makes it again very difficult for you to kind of like tap in, right? So just 1 second, more people. Yeah. So this is what is happening now, right? Like inside ChatGPT searches, ChatGPT has become the forefront of all of those searches. And as I mentioned, that they are now doubling all of those results very, very, very rapidly, right? So potentially the last reported report from ChatGPT was about 800 million weekly users. This might soon spike up to about 1 billion or even more as ChatGPT continues to focus on the consumer side of the businesses, right? And with the ads coming in, they're only going to push and market themselves even further across every single nation. This gives you the opportunity to just tap into those markets. Not just that, on an average, people are spending about 13 minutes on ChatGPT versus 6 minutes on Google. That's huge because that means people are taking time to make their decision, which means they're taking time to read. Now, what happens with this is you end up making ChatGPT or Perplexity your salesperson. They become that particular company that does all of the selling for you, provided you are there, you are visible. That's the most important part, right? And again, not just that, about 82% of the market share of generative AI chatbot, which means that the moment you start optimizing your website for various things, you might also get mentioned in GLM. You might also get mentioned in Quen. You might also get mentioned in other platforms, other generative AI platforms, because the core algorithm remains the same. So, which means that this is your chance and opportunity to actually start getting in front of all of these users just by focusing on right auditing, right things that if you do, there's a big optimization opportunity. Now, you might want to take a screenshot of this if you want, because this is one of the most important slides. And this is how the entire game is changing right now, right? Typically, the old world SEO would mean that you're optimizing for ranking, you're focusing on traffic, you're focusing on click-through rates. There's just one platform, Google, right? Keywords matter the most. So a lot of times you would just stuff the keywords inside articles, you would stuff the keywords inside your entire website with NLP, LSI keywords, whatnot, right? You will just start stuffing all of those things inside the platform, right? But that's not the case anymore, right? Because with AEO, it understands the context extremely well. You need to be well aware of your topical clusters and you're creating contents around the topical cluster. That's very, very important. Backlinks are no longer as important as getting mentions, right? So, for example, if a website just mentions you, doesn't backlink you, you still get credited because AI can read. AI can read and understand that, hey, a lot of people are talking about it. They might have not linked it, which means that you again get a lot more opportunities. But more importantly, you need to be publishing more pieces of articles and content. That is extremely, extremely, extremely important, because if you do not do that, again, as I mentioned, you're going to be losing out on all of those opportunities for yourself. So there is a shift that's happening from just being a link to being the answer. So if your website is not an answer, you are going to have troubles and challenges, right? Now let me show you and walk you through the actually what I'm really talking about, right, in terms of optimization. So as you can see over here, there is something that we have added in our footer. Just 1 second. Yeah. So there is something that we have added in our footer over here very clearly, as you can see. So make sure that whenever you're optimizing your website, you have your sitemaps mentioned in the below article. So in the footer, so that your website becomes discoverable. But more importantly, every single links that you're creating also becomes discoverable. Not just that, please make sure to also have a different feed for your website as well as for your blog post. Don't stuff them in together. And lastly, please ensure to have your LLM.txt file, right? This is one of the most secret sauce that not many people are talking about, but this is actually absolutely game changer, right? So what you have to do is just upload a LLMS.txt file on your website and include every single link in a markdown format. Not just that, when you're doing that, enter a 1 or 2 line description as well, Generally, it could be your title or your title, your meta description, whatever it is that you're adding. Add them over here, and more importantly, make sure that every single of your blog post, remember again, every single of your blog post is .md file, markdown file ready, because generally the file size of a markdown is literally in kbs, right? Your llms can only and only understand markdown, right? So if you're adding a lot of html, a lot of css, a lot of javascript, what happens is that the platforms then have to use a lot of conversion mechanism, where they have to convert everything that you're adding. They have to clean up and do a lot of those things, versus making it very very easy for your for these LLMs to just come and crawl, and you have your raw files absolutely ready, right? So please make sure, contact your devs, whatever it is, just contact them and make sure that every single page and every single blog post that you have created is LLM friendly. For that, you have to make sure that it is markdown ready, right? Now, I was talking about QCall. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go on the blog where we have been driving a lot of traffic. And again, we used SEOEngine.ai over here. And if I just open one of these articles, let's just open this article. You can see over here that we built a custom plugin for ourselves. You can build it yourself as well. Just use any of the vibe coding platforms. Doesn't matter which one you use, but please make sure, if you do not have devs, please make sure you use any of these platforms like Anti-Gravity, Claude Code, whatever you can. But please make sure that you have your markdown file ready, because that's exactly what is actually pumping up the traffic, because you're making it extremely extremely easy for the platforms to really understand what your contents are all about. And and these LLM platforms understands raw files the best, right? So before I proceed further, let me just take up some questions. If you guys have any, please drop them in. um can we get this lecture PDF? Sure, I'll be sharing it. I'll be emailing it to all of you guys, whoever have registered for the webinar. Can you please explain the difference between GEO and AEO? Honestly, there is not much of a difference. It's just generative engine optimization and answer engine optimization. When you're building up your website, you're primarily optimizing it for LLMs, right? So focus more on AEO at that particular stage. Don't focus much on anything else. But at the same time, as I mentioned, some of the fundamentals, I'm going to be sharing more fundamentals. Just focus on the fundamentals and you cover your AEO, SEO, and GEO, all of them, all at the same time. It's just that your website needs to be ready for that. If it's not, then it's a problem. Yes, there will be there. If we are using .md, it doesn't look suitable for the users. How do you handle? A great question. So .md file is not for your users. It's for LLMs, right? Whenever you're creating .md file, your LLM files, it's purely for search engines. That's it, right? You're helping LLM engines to really understand your contents better, right? They understand and they produce contents in markdown format. So when you're giving them in pure it's plain markdown format, they're able to crawl the entire piece of content a lot faster. And this is why it's very, very important that your website needs to have LLMS file and your raw files and MD files today. Do not wait on this, because again, while there's a great quote that AI searches will not penalize you, right, for not using it, but anyone who has started using it early and optimizing it for them early, they will get rewarded. That's the most important part, right? Now, let's take some more questions. Mm, does website help? Does website name help in GEO SEO? Definitely it does. If you have a long tail keyword or if you have exact match domain, it definitely helps quite a lot. But exact match domain also generally have a lot of traffic and a lot of competition. So be aware of that whenever you're doing it. It just takes a little longer for you to rank if you're using an exact match domain. Yes, the recordings would be there. Is there any is there any biasness in different LLMs? So different LLMs does process things differently, but again, the fundamental remains the same. So you need to focus on your fundamental. That's extremely important. What mistakes are you seeing people make right now when they try to optimize for search? Great question. Here are some of the mistakes that I've seen. So I'm going to be talking about one of the first mistakes that I often see from people and businesses, right? Let me just reshare my screen again. Oh, all right. So I've just reshared my entire screen so that I can show you guys. Okay, so this is one of my favorite plugins. It's AHREFS plugin. Please download this. It's absolutely free. Right now, what you do is always remember that whenever you have your websites and your blogs completely done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to one of these blog posts that I've generated using SEOEngine.ai, and then I'm going to just click on this AHREFS plugin, right? And I'm gonna quickly walk through and ensure that everything is right over here. So for example, if you can see, it's properly rendering my HTML. My robots is properly set up. My robots meta tags are properly set up. X robots tag is properly set up. This is one of the biggest mistake people make in technical SEO. They don't set up any of these, and that becomes a blunder and a problem, right? There's a proper sitemap that's properly tagged inside the meta tags. There is proper href links. Right now, it's very important that you also mention which language are you using for your websites, right? The more information you're able to provide, the faster the structured way your website is going to be. Schema is more important than ever. Please start using schema across your entire website. If you're not using schema tags, you're honestly missing out on a very big opportunity, because schema tags have become a communication between all of these searches LLMs, right? So if you add schemas, they are able to understand your website, the structuring, and your contents a lot better. So as you can see, my schemas are perfect. Whenever you're using blog post or anything, make sure that you're using blog posting schemas. Make sure breadcrumbs are available, FAQs are properly in FAQ tags, and your TOCs are properly in table tag, right? These are very important. Your social tags are pretty much same, are pretty much like standard over here. But this is what is extremely important, that whenever I see an audit any website, the first thing I look for is the schema tags, the sitemaps, the robots, and the LLMs.txt. If those things are messed up, you need to fix it right away, right? That's where the biggest problems and biggest issues that I've seen so far, those are the biggest mistakes that I've often seen people making. So please ensure to focus on that. I'm going to be continuing with my presentation, and then I'm going to be taking up more questions. Right? So as you can see, there are different types of businesses with different pain points, right? It's an absolute crazy opportunity right now for all of you, irrespective of your business, be it local businesses, be it e-commerce businesses, be it B2B businesses, it doesn't matter. I'm also going to be sharing a nice little experiment that I did last night that just did wonders, right? Let me just show you guys. Again, I'm sharing some amazing strategies to all of you, right? So first is Rodio. That's my email outreaching platform. And as you can see, last night we deployed our glossary, right? Sales glossaries. Now, this is a classic example of what is programmatic SEO. I'm going to be taking a whole session on programmatic SEO probably the next or the following Saturday. But I'm just showing you a quick glimpse of what can happen if you just use the right strategies in place, how your traffic can explode, how your visibility can explode, right? As you can see, this went live last night, right? Then after that, we ended up building up our own scraper, our own indexer, by the way, right? I indexed all of these links. I'm also going to be talking about how to build these things probably in the future session. But now let's talk about the results. I'm going to go back to my Google Search Console. Check this out. Look at the discoverability from 142, right? Because it's a brand new website, right? 142 impressions to almost 18,421 impressions. That's overnight, guys, right? So as you can see, like whatever I'm talking, we are actually implementing it live in front of you and we're getting the results. So start doing these things, right? But more importantly, every single page has got proper slugs. It's got a proper schema, right? All of those are extremely efficiently built, right? Which is what is extremely important. As you can see over here, there's a proper FAQ. Just one second. Let me just go back. Yep. So as you can see, there's proper FAQs, it's proper article tagged, right? Everything is nicely optimized over here, right? And this is where the discoverability happens, because most of the time, the biggest problem with most businesses is that, oh, sorry, my screen share was paused. Let me just reshare again. Um, as you can see over here, guys, so this is what we built last night and deployed. We built an entire glossary, right? So firstl.io is my email outreaching platform. So I ended up building up an entire glossary, which is about 285 pages that we created, right? We wipe coded the entire thing, structured it properly, right? I'm going to be keeping another session of how we can be using wipe coding for SEO and AEO purposes. I'm going to be doing that session in just a moment. Probably in the future sessions. But as you can see, we created 285 plus pages, right? Not just that, we ended up building up an indexer that basically ended up indexing all of these links, basically, as you can see, right? So I built this last night. Once the links were completely indexed, again, I'm going to be talking about these more important, right? I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to just refresh. Check this out, right? About on 5th, it was 142 impressions, because again, it's a brand new platform, brand new website. I haven't started marketing and promoting it yet. The first thing I focused was on AEO SEO, and boom, check this out. You see this, right? Discovery of the website improved right away overnight by almost 200x. This is overnight with just one glossary programmatic SEO implemented, right? All of these contents that you see, obviously, we generated using SEOEngine.ai, right? So you can use any of the platform that you want. We prefer using SEOEngine.ai for all of the contents, because it's heavily AEO and SEO optimized at the same time, right? And again, live results all in front of you guys in terms of how these strategies are getting implemented, right? Coming back to it. So this is what AEO is all about, right? Be cited, direct citations, AI models, discoveries. It's all about that, right? Now, here are the 5 signals that determines whether you're going to get AI cited or not, right? The first is your authority. The second is the amount of brand searches that you get. So this is why it's very important to start focusing on a lot of other keywords, a lot of these glossaries, and a lot of these other content, so that your discovery increases, because no one will know about your brand right away, right? It will take time for people to get to know about your brand. So this is why it's very important that you focus on content. Content is the way. Use AEO, use SEO, use AI to drive those content. Second is going to be relevancy, right? So again, semantic searches is going to be booming in 2026. So make sure that you are creating contents around it, right? Third is going to be residency, which is the content freshness. So if you had published an article about 2 years, 3 years ago, most likely it's going to get outdated very soon, right? Which means that now it's a fair opportunity for everyone to level up the game, which means that you have to update your content every quarter. If you're not going to update your contents every quarter, there's a very big chance your traffic will start plunging very soon, right? You need to add new perspective. You need to give new data. You need to add new data points. You need to add more data points. That's very important, right? And then the structure, right? The entire structure of your content, with your schema, how you answer, which is something that I've just shown, right? Again, if I go back on this particular website again, as you can see, it's nicely structured. The UX is very clean, right? UX is equally very important, right? And as you can see, I've mostly covered every single of these. And again, this is just one kind of programmatic SEO that I did and the content that I generated. So creating those pieces of content is very important, because when people come via AEO and SEO, that means they're searching for you. And when they're searching for you, the chances of them signing up for your product and services is going to skyrocket. So please take an advantage of that. This is again, you might want to take a screenshot of these because these are going to be the two most crucial slides. Here is a classic AEO playbook, the 12 tactics that will help you win the AI citation game. First, make sure that the answers that you give are directly answered in the first 30 to 60 words, right? If I go back on this content, you might notice one thing, that each and every piece of content starts with TLDR. It contains a summary of the entire article in just 4 lines, right? I'll go back and I'll show you constantly what we have done over here with other blog posts as well, and you will see it's the same thing, right? Over here, it's about 6-7 lines, right? Again, providing that particular summary is very, 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 very important. Second, listicle formats, right? It's more important than ever. If you see over here, every single article has got tables in place. If you do not have tables in your content, chances of you getting cited is extremely low, right? I'll take one more very random post and you will see that it's the same thing, right? There are tables, there are contents, there are internal links, right? These are extremely, extremely, extremely important, right? If you do not cover these, again, chances of you getting cited is going to be extremely low. As you can see, right, make sure that you focus on these. Otherwise, it's going to be a big, big challenge. Third, data rich content. This is one of the most hidden secrets in the SEO industry. The more charts, infographics, data that you add, the more backlinks it will attract as well, specifically from media, right? Because most of the time, whenever you add any pieces of rich data, chances of you getting cited is a lot higher across different platforms. Not just that, when any of these AI platforms also write the content, they also go and scrape content from other people's website and then include the links for those data points as well, right? So naturally, you will start attracting a lot many backlinks, which otherwise will not be possible, right? I was mentioning about the tables. Please ensure to add tables. Each of your content should be a minimum of 2000 words. Ideally, I don't post anything below 5000 to 6000 words at all, right? I want to make sure that this is the best article on that subject, period, right? Then it's all about semantic URLs, right? Make sure that your core keyword is there in the URL. Very, 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 very important, right? This is where the exact match domain also comes up, right? This is a part two of it, which is more on the technical side of the things. Make sure that your schema is up to date. Make sure that you allow all your crawlers to be out there, right? I'm also going to show my crawlers in just a moment. So if you're using Cloudflare, please make sure to use this. I'm going to be sharing my code with you guys as well that you can just copy and paste. It took me some time to build this. Just 1 second. I'm going to be posting this in chat. Just give me 1 second so that I can share my screen again. Okay, I've reshared my screen. All right, guys. So if you are using Cloudflare, please make sure to use this code. Otherwise, you are honestly losing out on such a big opportunity, right? So I'm just going to share this with you guys. This is something proprietary that we have built over like a lot of research that has really helped us out, right? So let me just share that inside the chat. Okay, I'm not able to share it inside Zoom chat, guys. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to send out a separate email to all of you guys with this and all the instructions because Zoom is limiting me to about 1000 characters only. And this is about 2000 characters. So I'm just going to share and walk you through it very, very quickly. As you can see over here, all you got to do is go in security, go in security rules, and then create a new rule that and just name it AI crawlers and bot, and make sure that you allow all of these Claude bots and all of these bots, Grow, Perplexity. Just make sure that you allow them, right? Skip on any action. Make sure that they're able to crawl your website properly, because if they're not able to crawl your website properly, none of the work that you're doing actually matters over here. As you can see over here, the traffic is jumping already, right? So this is why it's extremely important that you please start focusing on these technical side of the things as well. I'm going to be giving a separate session altogether on just technical SEO, right? You don't need to pay like lakhs and lakhs of rupees, thousands of dollars to agency. You can just do it yourself with AI coming in now, right? I'm going to be holding probably the next session on technical SEO. Then again, your entity organization, it's very important that you start getting cited and probably getting listed and getting mentioned by some of the known names in the industry. That is entity organization that really helps you to get cited by more of these platforms, right? Make sure if your website is in JavaScript, you use you strictly use server-side rendering. If you're not using server-side rendering, and if you have built an entire website on JavaScript like Next.js, honestly, it's a big blunder, right? And more importantly, please create a publishing velocity of a minimum of 30 articles per month. I typically do about 70 to 80 per month, but 30 is the bare minimum that you need to do. Cover every topic, every micro topic, every subtopic, every topical cluster. You need to cover each one of them, because if you're not going to cover them, it's a big challenge, right? Now, generally, this is how the content freshness is where the AU is won or lost, right? So the moment you get published, you'll probably start seeing the traffic coming in, right? You need to update it a bit here and there at least once. If you're not updating your contents in 3 months of time, it's dead. It's gone. Your traffic will start plumbing right away. So you need to make sure that you always keep freshness in your content, because there's new insights coming out. That is what AEO wants. So the old typical SEO game is over here. So if you have published an article 2-3 years ago and you're probably wondering, oh, I'm done, I don't need to do anything anymore, then you're absolutely wrong, right? And again, this is where SEO Engine comes in, right? We've built SEO Engine with a lot of love. We had been beta testing on our own platform for quite some time, and we have gotten incredible results. So I'm going to walk you through the platform extremely quickly, right? How you can use SEO Engine for your businesses. Just come over here, right? It's extremely easy to use. Once you onboard, just get your credits. You can easily sign up. You can create any pieces of content over here, and it's extremely easy to create any of these pieces of content. So anyone wants me to create any piece of content, please just mention the main keyword in the comments below, and I'll probably take one of them. And then I'm going to be taking up the questions, guys. Meanwhile, you can come over here. You can create these contents. You can create bulk contents as well if you want, right? You can create as many contents as you want. It's completely up to you. Not just that, if you are someone who doesn't want to go through all the hassles and loops and everything, we have made it extremely simple. Just come over here, right? And you can analyze your competitor's website as well, or your own website. So probably I'm going to come over here. I'm simply going to write SEOEngine.ai. I'm going to start the research now. What the platform is doing, it's automatically going, scraping the entire content of your website, understanding the gaps, building a topical clusters, all of these things that you're doing manually. SEO Engine has completely automated this particular process, right? It takes about good 2 to 3 minutes. Once I'm done, I'm going to be sharing some more insights with you guys while this is happening. Meanwhile, let me just take up some questions that you guys have asked. Okay, so there will be two files for each blog. One, that's absolutely correct, Mr. Jain. There will be two files. One will be the raw file. The raw file is purely built for SEO for LLM purposes only, and then the content is for your actual users. So as you can see, here all the research and contents and everything was done. It's giving me some great suggestions for the keywords. I can pick any of these, or I can enter my own keywords. I'm just going to select auto select for now, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just generate the matrix. Now, what it's going to do is it's going to go and grab the entire volume data in terms of the searches, potential traffic, everything. It's purely automated, right? You don't need to do all the hassles, troubles, nothing. Each of the articles will cost you just 1 token a piece. That's it, right? So again, it's happening. Let's just wait while that's happening. I'm going to be taking some more questions, right? Is there a good source to create? And there you go. As you can see, all of this is done. Now I'm just going to go and continue on settings, right? I'm going to select some of my presets. So you can select your own presets. So I've just kept it as the 500 word preset for now. just for this demo purpose. I'm just going to schedule it for 15th. So it's going to schedule from 15th, 9 a.m. And if you want, if you have WordPress or any other integrations, we have those integrations available for you guys as well, right? It's completely up to you. As you can see, we have these integrations available. So you can just integrate within the platform, right? I'm just going to go and continue on settings. I'm just going to select 16th, and you can also add about your brand as well, so that it starts mentioning about your brand very smartly. Once this is done, just hit the generate button, and now it's creating and scheduling the content for the next 10 days for you guys, right? You can do it for 100 days, 200 days, 300 days, 400 days. It's completely up to you how you want to do it. It just makes it extremely simple for all of these analysis that you're doing. Otherwise, it's extremely difficult, right? All done. As you can see right in front of you, I've just scheduled a post from 16th to 25th. Everything done, everything locked in. I did not need to do anything. It's just going to take care of everything by itself automatically, right? From keyword research to automation to the content to publishing, it's all automated, right? That's the beauty about AI, right? So we have deployed multiple AI agents. Start using these AI agents to make your life extremely, extremely, extremely simple, right? Now, I'm going to come back to the presentation. So as you can see, this is what we have done. We have essentially built 5 different agents. One is the comparative analysis agent. This does all of the analysis. You can do it manually as well. You can use ChatGPT or any other platform if you want, but you have to do that manually. And again, you have to remain consistent, which means that you have to end up hiring people. Here, you don't need to even hire people, right? Which again, you'll end up spending like several hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars behind a person just managing it, right? Then again, the entire brand voice and everything gets extracted. Then your entire outline gets extracted. What needs to be done? Then an agent gets deployed for writing, and then there's an agent that gets deployed for this, right? Again, we have consistently done this for all of our platforms. This is a standard playbook. It always, always, always work, right? So again, start using SEO engine. I would highly, highly recommend that, right? Also at the same time, right now, because we are in the launch phase, we are running a special offer. Right, you can grab this special offer for just $499 per year for about 360 articles. So that means it's a cost of one employee basically, right, for the entire year. That gets sorted, right? I'm going to be sending across the link to you guys, and now I'm going to come back. I'm going to share the link. So if anyone wants to grab, this is open for the next 12 hours, guys. After 12 hours, this is going to get closed, right? So please ensure that you grab this. Again, it's a no-brainer deal. It will hardly cost you about $1.45 for a single post. Like, it doesn't get cheaper than this, honestly, right? Take advantage of this particular offer. Again, I've just shared the link with all of you guys in the comment. The deal is going to get expired in 12 hours. We're not going to extend it beyond 12 hours. And grab it now, right? Meanwhile, I'm going to go back and take up all the questions you guys have asked so far. Okay. Nilabha is asking, what is schema tags? So schema tags are basically like adjacent tags that you're adding on your website that is going to help the website communicate with searches and LLMs, right? It explains them that this is what the website is all about. This is what you do. This is how you do it, right? So again, everything is then gets communicated. So your schema becomes your core communicator between your platforms and all the other platforms out there. Sure, I'll be sharing the deck with all of you guys over the email. Is the code about agent access? Can't see the script. So yeah, I'll be sharing the script over email because as I mentioned, it was about 2,000 lines. So I'm not able to share in the chat. So I'm just going to share it across all of you guys over chat, over email. How to build your brand as top quality store on Google for our brand in our business profile manager. We see blah, blah, blah. But if your search, so again, start focusing on AEO and SEO. As I mentioned, it will only help you get the discovery of your brand. If you do not get discovered, you will not get your brand searches up either. It's as simple as that, right? No one is going to come and search for SEOEngine.ai. No one is going to come and search for firstsales.io right now. Probably in a year or 2 year of time, yes, they will, because people are discovering, they're going to sign up for the platform, they're going to use it, and they're probably going to start talking about it, right? That's where the rippling effect starts kicking in. So for publishing so many blogs, is WordPress website built? I would highly recommend not to use Elementor. If you're using WordPress, please use Gutenberg. If you're using WordPress, that's what I would highly recommend, because Elementor does slow your website quite a lot. And the default Gutenberg is absolutely incredible. It's fast. Also, I read somewhere that WordPress 7 is going to come out and it's completely built on Next.js. So the moment that comes out, it's going to create wonders and opportunities for everyone. Does content for search include social media content? Yes, it does. So whenever you're posting quite a lot of social media contents, today all of those content gets indexed inside Google. And when that happens, when the searches, when LLMs are searching about your brand, they also look for these kind of contents as well. What kinds of contents are getting indexed in Google, right? And different kinds of context that they're pulling. So it's very important to also start staying active across social media if you can. But if you can't, that's completely okay, provided you have enough contextual data on your platform. That's the most important part. So for new SEO things, for absolutely, that's what I would recommend. Just start using SEOEngine.ai and AHREFS plugin. That's pretty much it that you need. And again, AHREFS plugin is absolutely free, guys. I would highly recommend you to just use that for your technical SEO purposes, basically. Can AU support geographic targeting? Absolutely, it can. When you provide a lot of contextual data about your country, because every country operates in a very, very different manner. So when you do that for your country and give more data about your specific country and how it operates, then your likelihood of getting cited for that country also goes up. So this is where we have also covered that inside SEO Engine. So if you come over here, inside the platform, you would see that we have something known as target country. So just select the target country and we will automatically optimize the entire piece of content for that specific country. We'll do all the research, we'll get the data for that specific country, and we will improve your entire article and focus on that article, only focusing on that country, right? So if you select US, the problems in US will be researched upon. If you select India, the problem in India will be researched upon. If you select Singapore, the problem in Singapore will be selected upon, right? If you don't select anything, then it will make generic for everyone, right? Like a more of a globalized problem statement. That's generally how LLMs operate, right? So you again have a lot of micro opportunities to target these countries and really adapt to getting these users. How about YouTube? Absolutely. Again, YouTube is the second biggest search engine. Use that. Absolutely. So you can also use SEO engine to create contents, heavily AU optimized content for your YouTube description as well. So if nobody clicks our website anymore, what should we track to know our content is helping the business? Again, Vaibhav, the first part is discovery. If people are not clicking your content, the problem is probably with your CTR. You need to improve your CTR, which means the title tag on your blog post or your website is not generating curiosity. So make sure that it's generating curiosity, that's making people click, because if you are getting discovered, the job of LLMs are done. If people are not clicking it, that's not their job to send you traffic. So you need to start optimizing your conversions at that stage, right? So you need to start doing CRO, conversion rate optimization, on your website. That's very important. The problem is everyone tries to just sell. No one tries to provide value, and no one tries to generate curiosity. Curiosity is very important whenever it comes to any kind of any form of marketing. So the green and amber numbers on calendar is just the keyword research and the traffic. Again, I'm just going to show you guys. So here you go. As you can see, this is just the traffic and keyword difficulty. So the red color basically means how difficult this particular keyword is. And green color basically means that how easy it is, right? The keyword difficulty is basically. So that's what it means. Can this SEO engine app get? Absolutely, we do have a Shopify integration available. So you can just use SEO engine for with your Shopify integration. At the same time, you can absolutely do that. As you can see, we already have the Shopify integration available, so you can just completely automate your entire publishing. These are AI. Absolutely, these are all AI generated. Nope, it doesn't. So this is one of the most common myth. People think that AI generated contents will tank your ranking. It doesn't, provided you don't make it sound like AI, right? Now, if you're going to do this, right? Now, this is one of the most common issues that I see, right? This is generally how people would go. You are a top blog writer with over 20 plus years of experience. Write me a blog post on, um, let's say, I think some of the people suggested some keywords earlier, um, on, let's say, schema tags, right? Now, if you're going to go and enter this and then just copy and paste the content, obviously you're not going to get any traffic because these contents are pretty shit, as you can see over here, right? This is not how you draft content. Now, the problem is people would simply copy and paste this, right? Just because they think ChatGPT is free to begin with, let's just copy and paste these pieces of content. This is not how contents are to be created, right? This is the biggest mistake people make when it comes to creating AI contents, right? So this is where you have to ensure that your articles look like this, right? It looks like this. See this, right? ChatGPT will not be able to make such articles. Neither Claude will be able to make such articles, by the way, right? You have to make sure that each of your content is well researched, which means there is something known as context engineering. If you do not provide enough context, it will not create unique perspective at all, right? So what AO demands is give me unique perspective. Don't give me basic knowledge. I don't want that. I want some deep insights, data, because LLMs don't have data, right? So the data part is the most important part because that's where it goes to the website and gets them cited. So again, that's the most important part. Does SEO Engine help? Absolutely, it does. We want to show on all the platform. Deepak just start using SEO Engine. I think Deepak wants to say something. Deepak, please go ahead. I have unmuted you.
I'm audible.
Yeah, you're audible.
So actually, है ना, we are the manufacturer of hygiene products, है ना, for OEM as well. तो हम चाहते हैं कि जो भी एक मतलब किसी भी एआई प्लेटफॉर्म पे अगर कोई सर्च करे कि भाई सैनिटरी नैपकिन मैन्युफैक्चर इन इंडिया, तो हमारी कंपनी का भी नाम आए, तो वो हम कैसे पॉसिबल कर सकते हैं?
So,
तो
great question, Deepak. There are two things that you need to do. First, start posting a lot of educative contents around this topical topic on your particular blog. That's very important. What we have seen is the inflection point of 300 articles. The moment you touch about 300 articles, 300 pages, 300 articles, that becomes the inflection point of you seeing the traffic going up, right? If you saw, I posted glossary. That was about 285 pages. The traffic shot up, right? For Q call, we have posted about 350 blocks. Again, the traffic shot up, right? So again, constantly what we are seeing is 300 pages post being the inflection points. So post that. Not just that, once you start getting traffic in some businesses, spend some money on PR because most of the time, these best keywords, generally you get these mentions automatically across various websites and then do some PR on top of that. That's when you will start getting yourself ranked, right? But more importantly, before doing all of those activities, your website needs to have you need to be the authority in terms of the content for your niche. If you are not providing that, chances of you getting in front of ChatGPT for your keywords is going to be not possible. So I hope that answers your question.
we should post these blogs on our website.
Absolutely. Each post should be at least 5 to 6,000 words. The moment you post about a good, as I mentioned, 300 plus articles around every single potential topic that exists on the planet around your industry, you will start seeing traffic going up. That's something that I can absolutely guarantee you. Provided, again, your technical SEO is intact as well. So just make sure that your technical SEO, your schema tags, all of that is in complete intact.
Or you can help us for this whole process, sir. That's it.
Sure, we can definitely help you out. Sangeet, please get in touch with Deepak.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so I think we have pretty much covered most of the things. Guys, again, please take advantage of the deal. We're going to be wrapping up the deal in about 12 hours, right? Right now, we currently sell each of the tokens for about $5 per token. Right now, because it's discounted, you get them for about 72% discount. It's only and only available for the next 12 hours. Please take advantage of this. It's not going to be there forever. Meanwhile, any other questions anyone have before we wrap up this particular webinar? If there are any other questions, guys, please do let me know. Again, I've posted the link. I'm going to be sharing the link with you guys as well. Again, we're providing about 72% off right now. This goes off in next 12 hours. You would end up spending 72% more. This is probably the best deal you will also find on the internet, by the way. And why we are able to do such kind of pricing? Because we own our model. That's the reason why we've been able to do things at such pricing. Again, make sure that every single length of the blog post is between 4,000 to 6,000 words. Anything below that is a pure waste of money. Don't do anything below that. So again, I'm going to share the link with all of you guys. If you guys have any other questions, please do let me know. We have about another 1 minute left before we wrap up. I hope you guys found this session helpful. Come back for the next session. I'll be hosting another session next Saturday, 11 a.m. Just mark your calendar. Next week, I'm going to be talking about technical SEO. I think that's something that every single business needs to do. Also, I'm going to be talking about how you can use vibe coding and platforms to do technical SEO. I'm going to be talking about that. I'm also going to be sharing my skills with you guys, right? The skills that we have created for technical SEO. I'm going to be sharing all of that with you guys. So make sure that you join. And if you guys do like it, please let me know. Give your feedbacks. And more importantly, grab this deal. Trust me, it's an absolute no-brainer of a deal. I'm pretty sure you guys are going to absolutely love using SEO Engine. It's made with a lot of love, but more importantly, with a lot of data, proven results. That's the most important part, right? So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I'm going to be seeing you guys in the next session. Until then, have a great weekend, everyone. And you guys are already ahead than most other people because you stayed around till the end, while other people are probably partying, chilling, or watching Netflix right now. So thank you so much, guys. And I hope you guys pump out at least 100 plus articles by next week when we do another webinar. Bye, everyone.